Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So again, that's going to be another opportunity for you to talk with the country director and also the director of programming and training, and ask them some more specific questions. But really, it's just going to be a Q&A. I know you all have been kind of wanting to hear from Peace Corps because this is just a time where we just need you to kind of complete your task. But if you have any questions, we can kind of start off, and then we can just kind of take it from there. And
I
you
have a
can type,
question.
yeah, you can either type or you can feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead, Kaya, is that correct?
It's Kaya.
Kaya, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Um, there's the plague in Madagascar,
Yes.
and I'm not worried about it, but everyone else is. Are we gonna get vaccinated for that, or are you just gonna let us go and take our chances?
Take your chances. I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
So yes, you're correct. There is a plague, and this is an annual plague. It happens every year.
Oh.
It there it does. In this particular case, there were a higher number of cases that were positive. But however, what was happening was a lot of people were who had symptoms of. I'm sorry, one second. Bilal says he can't hear anything. Um, So there were high. This year seemed to be a higher number of cases, only because they were treating anyone who had symptoms that resembled that particular plague. When it would take essentially like 6 days to 2 weeks to actually confirm if it was positive, and most of them came back negative. And so although it does seem like it is a very serious situation, they have been monitoring it for over the months, and all of the volunteers have been given instructions on how to stay safe, and no one's actually fell sick from it. So they will give you a great training on how to stay healthy, and also protect yourself when this season comes about, when you are in country.
So are we going to get vaccination or not? Because I don't care. I just need to know.
There's no vaccination
Okay.
associated with it. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm. But the reason why, and if you've read this, I'm not sure, but the reason why a lot of people do get end up being sick by it is because they're malnourished, or they just don't have access to healthcare facilities that are around. And so it's treatable, and you have an excellent medical staff that, like, if you were to have symptoms, there's a whole system in which you go and see a doctor that they've already identified, and so you'll get all that information in country. But yeah, there's no vaccination in particular for that plague, for the pneumonic plague.
Bananas.
I'm,
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Said cool bananas.
Cool
Thanks.
bananas. Okay, all right.
Well, I have a question too,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
that's like
Stefan. Go ahead.
I received a notification that my legal clearance is done and
Okay.
medical clearance is done. Is there a
Yay.
possibility to check on my passport and visa clearance?
Good question. So at staging, you all will receive your personal passport back at that time. Now, if you do need it in between, before staging, because you're going to be traveling, then you send me an email, and then I can work with the CDO team to send it to you. So that you have it, but everyone will receive any of the documents that you submitted to SATO at staging.
Well, and I opted to keep my personal passport, so I have my personal passport. I'm just
Okay.
asking for the status of my visa application and my no fee passport application, if that's been received and processed.
Oh yeah, that has all been received and processed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. No problems there. They are already we've already gotten your no fees passport back, and they're working on your visas as we speak.
Excellent.
Yep. Um, Lon is asking in the chat whether February 28th is the date for departure. Yes. So you will be arriving. Let me see. So staging will be February 25th, and then you'll you'll have a full day of sessions the 26th, depart the 27th, and arrive the 28th. Okay.
Where are we doing staging?
It's in Philadelphia. Go ahead. Yeah, it's in Philadelphia. 30 days before your departure date, you'll receive an email from the staging unit, and they will give you all the instructions on how to book your travel to staging, and then after that, it'll also give you an idea of what the day is going to look like in terms of the sessions. Um, yeah, and give you more details about that. But as a reminder, please know that we are taking care of your flight from Philadelphia to Madagascar. But in those instructions, it will lay out as to how to call SATO and book your travel from your home of record to the staging event. Sounds good? Great. All right.
I have a
Yes,
question.
Samantha.
Um, do we get to choose our own malaria prophylactic? And if so, or just what malaria prophylactic are most volunteers using?
Yeah, good question. So yes, you do. When you arrive in country that first day, you are going to actually have an interview with your medical doctor officer, and then so they're going to like walk and look through your records, and then they'll suggest that you should be on Doxy. I believe everyone starts on Doxy, and then according to your medical history or records, then they may prescribe something else. But there are three medications that are offered, which is Doxy, Mefloquine, and Malarone. And so, according to your health history, then they'll they'll work accordingly as to and find the right one for you. Sounds good. Yeah. Oh, Dan. Sorry. Any other question?
I've got a question.
Yes.
So, at what point should we contact legal if we haven't heard back? Because I know that they get backed up. I've got a few friends that have gone through this.
Yeah.
Is it usually a month before, or do you think that's a little too late in the game to follow up with them?
Yeah, so if you've submitted your legal kit, you should have received an confirmation that they got it. Okay,
Hmm.
so at that point, it does take anywhere from 3 weeks to several months in order
Yeah.
to get cleared, and
Hmm.
it sounds like you already know the process.
Yeah.
Now, oh, that didn't go through. So like at 8 weeks prior to staging, if you're
Hmm.
not cleared at that time, the legal team will send you a communication stating that stating so. At that point, then they're closely monitoring the status of your legal clearance, and as we get closer, they'll expedite it. Um, if it as we get closer to your staging date. So just kind of look out for that email. But usually the turnaround time, give or take, is like a month or two it takes in order to receive your clearance. But if not,
Okay.
then you will get a notification 8 weeks out that your
Okay.
clearance is still pending.
All right.
And then we just monitor it
From there.
till there
Okay.
until staging. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I follow up usually with them just to ensure that it's been sent. And if you have not submitted your legal kit, I'm usually like reaching out to you to
Right.
ensure that you've at least sent it in. But
Okay.
I'm hoping you all here have already sent it in because you've had
Yeah.
it for months now. Yeah, okay. All right, sounds good.
I have a question.
Yeah, hi Brittany.
Will we know before leaving what kind of climate we'll either be training or stationed in to help pack?
Yeah, so something that you will receive is a bridge to PST. You'll get that also about a month and a half before. Oh, you'll get that about next month. But that will walk you through your pre-service training, what you should expect, and also how to dress, obviously. So you are going to be in a colder climate when you arrive at the training center. So we do definitely suggest that you do bring a jacket. A lot of people think that, oh, I'm going to Africa, and so I don't. It's not. It's going to be hot all the time. No, the temperatures do get low, and it is by a lake, and so you do get like that wind coming off the lake, which cools the temperature there a bit. So definitely, I would suggest that you bring a jacket um, if you can. Have you all been able to go onto the website and look at the packing list?
I haven't found that.
Perfect. You did not find it?
I couldn't find it.
Okay. I can include it in the next email that I have, but it's okay. I'll just send it out. But I think that it was already
Thanks.
sent out, but no worries.
Could you send us a hard copy of the volunteer manual?
The volunteer manual,
A hard copy.
a copy of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been able, you have not been able to find it?
No, I found it. I just like a hard copy.
Oh, so I can't send you a hard copy. We don't actually have, we only have soft copies of them online. We don't actually print them out.
Wonderful.
Yeah, sorry. Any other questions? No?
Oh, I do have a question
Yeah,
actually.
go ahead, Tom.
Um, so in terms of like additional vaccines that are given, are there any additional given in country, like for rabies or what have you?
Yeah, yeah, there are
Okay.
some additional vaccines that you will receive in country, and we'll have a call with your PCMO
Hmm.
like 2 or 3 weeks prior to departure,
Hmm.
and she'll
Sure.
kind of go over that. But your first 2 days once you get in country is all about getting your vaccines and making sure that you are fully medically equipped to successfully serve for the next 2 years. So,
Right. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
In terms of questions, I just remembered. We are going to be trying something different this year. Typically, we have conference calls leading up, several conference calls leading up to staging. But because of the time difference, we're finding that we don't have a high number of attendees for these conference calls because the time difference is 8 hours. And so when we have a call, it's like usually like 7 or 8 p.m. In Madagascar, and then we can only do it like 10 o'clock here, which then West Coast people, it's kind of difficult because that means it's 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So what we're thinking about doing actually is having you all submit questions, and then we have a group of volunteers that are going to be in the city around December 5th. And so we're gonna actually basically just interview them and ask them the questions that you provide to us, and then they're gonna record it and then they're gonna send it, upload it to YouTube. That way you can watch it at your leisure, and then get your answers, all your questions answered. Does that sound good?
Hmm.
All right, so what I'm going to do is actually send around an Excel sheet, and that way you can just kind of input the questions because I don't want to receive different. I'm sure you all are going to probably ask me the same kind of questions, so you'll be able to see what questions already been typed in. Okay. All right. Cool.
Could you explain the stipending process? Do you deposit this stipend in our American bank account, and then we draw it out there, or do we open a Malagasy bank account, or how exactly does that work? And do you have any idea of like how much money it is and how adequate it is?
Yeah. So your monthly stipend does go into your Madagascar bank account. You set one up when you get in country. Not if not the first week, it's within the second week. You're setting it up with your director of management and operations officer. So that gets electronically transferred every single month to help with food and any other needs that you may have. All of the volunteers have do report that it's sufficient enough. You are living in a very rural kind of area, and so the cost of living is lower than compared to if you were living in the capital city. So every couple years or so, the volunteers do take a survey and kind of do an assessment of if the money is enough, and if there's a certain number of volunteers that say like that the stipend is not enough, then they do an increase. But so far right now, the volunteers are all fine with the amount that they get. And I can't give you the exact number, but that is a great question that you can ask the country director when we have the call on December 5th. You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? No? Okay. So I just want to go over just a couple things. So by now you should have already completed your passport and visa application, your medical clearance. And please, something that I would like to say about that is definitely make sure that you're communicating with your nurse. Do not wait to finish everything and then submit it. You should be just, as you're completing the task, you can upload them into your Max portal. If you feel like you're going to be, if you need an extension or there might be a delay, definitely communicate that with your nurse. Okay, they just want to know that you're actually working on it. When they don't hear from you, they assume that you're not interested anymore. And so just be sure that you're communicating through the Max portal that you are working on the things if you need if there's going to be a delay. Okay. So there's medical. With legal, like I said before, you should have already submitted your legal kit at this time. And if you have not received legal clearance at least 8 weeks prior to staging, that's when we'll start monitoring. You will, if you have not, you'll receive an email stating so, and then we'll closely monitor week by week who gets cleared and do an expedite if and when necessary. Okay. All right. In addition to that, things to kind of look forward to. December 5th, we have a conference call with the country director Vanessa Dickey. All right, and the DPT, which is the director of programming and training, Patrick McElroy. They will both be on the call, and that just will be your opportunity to just ask some more questions and just in general. But they're going to really be kind of just talking through about what it's like to serve in Madagascar, and then just setting some expectations that they have for volunteers. Yes, Samantha, you look like you have a question.
I got an email and it says Thursday, December 7th, so I'm just a little confused.
Yes.
Yes, December 7th.
Okay.
My apologies.
Okay.
Yeah. You're correct. December 7th.
Okay. Thanks,
Will that
Samantha.
be recorded?
What were you saying, Brittany?
Will that be recorded in case someone can't make it?
Yes, I will record that and still send it out. Yeah, for sure. Yep. So we have that. Also, I just mentioned about the questions, collecting the questions, and so I will send that out today. There will be a quick turnaround for that. So because the volunteers are going to be arriving in the capital city December 5th, and so just as soon as you get that link, just go in there, jot down your questions, and that way they can start preparing on creating these videos for you. And so, and ask away. This is your opportunity to really kind of touch base with them. I don't know if you've already been in contact with them via Facebook, but this will be your opportunity to really kind of pick their brain about what it's like to serve as an ag volunteer, or what it's like to serve as a health volunteer. What does their day-to-day look like? And so those are the kind of things that they will be going through. What should you bring? You know, what do they, wish they didn't bring? You know, those kind of things. I know you all are kind of slowly packing, and so you might want to know those kind of things. So yeah, just ask away. Don't feel like any question is too, you know. Okay. All right. So we have that, and then what else? So staging, again, I said that you will receive instructions 30 days before on how to book your travel to staging, and then also what that day of sessions is going to look like. Okay. There also would be yeah, that's it. And then after that, also we'll be sending out a bridge to PST that will basically outline what your pre-service training will be like, and also who will be your program manager, and points of contact, that kind of thing. Okay. Any questions after all that?
I think I'm good.
You're good, Tyler? All right.
I'm good.
Everyone's good? Okay.
I guess maybe a quick question. So how many people are there all together on this rotation in this team?
Good question. 45 of you.
Wow.
Well, there's more of well, we're hoping that we'll get 45. That's the number that has been requested. But we definitely do invite more. And so, like, some people don't get medically cleared, some people don't get legally cleared. So that number will fluctuate by the time staging arrives. But yeah, it's supposed to be 20 ag volunteers and 25 health volunteers. Okay. Yeah. So you're a nice little group. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that now. How closely do we work with the agriculture volunteers, or not at all?
It all depends on your site placement. And so like you'll have a couple of them that will attend your pre-service training, who will then again will go through, their best practices and lessons learned and things like that. But it all depends on where your placement is. So you may not be very close to an ag volunteer, but you may be close to like an education volunteer, and then that's an opportunity to work on some secondary projects or collaborate on a camp or something of that nature. So yeah,
When do we
they do
find
try to
out?
cluster you.
Sorry, I have a question too.
Yeah. Hmm.
When do we find out our site placement?
Who am I talking to? I can't. Oh,
It's
Kara.
Kara.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hi,
I don't know
Kara.
if the things are working.
No worries,
Hi.
it's fine. Hi, Kara. So you'll find that mid pre-service training (PST). That's when you'll find out where your site is. And so what happens during pre-ST is that you'll have technical training for a couple weeks. Then you'll get to go out to site for about a week or two, and that's an opportunity to meet your community members, your counterparts, things of that nature. And then you come back again for additional language and technical training, and then swear in, and then you're off to your sites. But you do find your sites out like mid PST.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question.
In regards to volunteers interacting with other volunteers, agriculture volunteers, day to day, will we see many other volunteers, or are we fairly isolated?
You it varies depending on what region of the country you're in, but you will have some a volunteer close by. Now, whether it be another ag volunteer from a previous group, it may not. It's not guaranteed, but you'll at least have a volunteer that is like within your vicinity.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Excuse me. Do you have any recommendations on a reading list or a viewing list for Madagascar? Things like books, articles, analysis, films, documentaries, on things other than lemurs?
Other than lemurs. I do have a list that I can send out to you all. But the best thing is have you all gone to the Peace Corps Madagascar page? Facebook page. I mean, if you want to get a sense of what the volunteers are doing, that's what one place to look at. Also, if you go to the Peace Corps Madagascar website, there's also stories and some more information about Madagascar itself. But Lon, if you're asking for like really like hard data in regards to Peace Corps or just in general, like
In general, like the economic situation, the political situation, the outlook, anything in literature or film that would be current and helpful and
okay.
insightful.
If you want to get brief history, like you can always go to the U.S. State Department's website and look at the Madagascar page, and they have a wealth of information there as well. But I have a couple links that I can send out to you all if you want to take a look at some literature. Okay. I would suggest also just something that just popped in my mind. If you have the opportunity, is to start learning a couple words in Malagasy. Language is definitely difficult there, and it's a challenge for some volunteers, especially for the ag and health, because you all are have to jump right into the community, and because of your placement, they only know Malagasy, and their English is very limited. So if you can just kind of just, you don't have to study or get a tutor. I'm not saying all of that, but just start learning a couple of the words. It definitely will help during your PST and in your language training, if you
Um,
can.
do they speak French a lot there?
They do, but it's not where you're going to be. In the capital
Oh,
cities, they do,
okay.
but not where you be. They'll only be speaking Malagasy and then
Okay.
various dialects within that.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So I definitely want to say, like, if you can, just, Google some resources. I believe, oh gosh, it's slipping my mind right now. What is that thing called? Lingo? No. Hold up one second.
Is it Omlagot?
Hi, oh, sorry about that. The name of it is Duolingo. If you want to check that out, and I'll type it here for you. Duolingo. So you can go on there and you do the sessions on that they have for
I don't think
Malagasy.
they have Malagasy.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't have
So,
Malagasy. I look.
Yeah, so did I.
Okay.
Question is, we have looked for Malagasy resources, and I have found nothing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I've been having a lot of issues with
With
that too.
okay, when you say resources, what exactly are you looking for?
Well, I've tried to send out a broad scope, so Google
Yeah.
I've talked to I have friends with PhDs in linguistics, and they have had little to offer me. I've searched everywhere. The only thing I found was one site from Peace Corps that was talking about Malagasy resources, but when I was clicking the links, nothing came through.
Okay. All right. I'll touch base with Post with Madagascar with the Madagascar team and see if they have anything. I know they've been working on trying to create like a podcast and like a language modules, but that's just kind of something that they're kind of right now just developing. But all right. Yeah, let me definitely um I'll ask about that and feel free, Alyssa, to actually include that also um in your questions in the Excel sheet that I'll be sending out.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. All right. Oh, thanks,
Um,
Brittany. Brittany, it seems though Brittany just put a link in the chat of something that she's been using. Do you want to talk about that really quick, Brittany?
It's not very in depth. It
Oh,
just has sections, and it'll have the word in English and then the word in Malagasy, and you can only listen to someone say it in Malagasy. So it's not the greatest thing, but I can at least listen to it a couple of times and try to repeat it and try to
okay.
get it right. I would just literally Google learning Malagasy, and a couple of different stuff pop up.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'll definitely get
Yeah.
I'll try and get some resources or some links from posts that hopefully can be helpful.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've also included a link down there. It's Omdaglot, I believe is how you say it, but it's got the phonetic pronunciation of the vowels and such, and the phonetic alphabet of Malagasy. So it's been helpful for me in terms of just pronunciation.
Sweet. That's perfect. Great. Awesome. Well, thank you all for that. That's great. I like the fact that you guys are taking the initiative on that already. That's wonderful. Um, Something that just came to mind also, have you all started a Facebook group?
Yes.
Oh, you have.
Mhm.
Sure, you're not on it, Kaya.
No, I'm in school right now,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm still in college,
Okay.
and I have projects to do.
You're busy. Okay. All right. So I typically like to be a part of them if you want. And I can, just kind of answer questions from time to time on there. But
Mhm.
obviously, officially, like if you do have a question about your application or anything like that, definitely send me an email at madagascar@peacecorps.gov. I don't know if you've already invited volunteers that are currently serving onto that group,
Mhm.
but that's another opportunity to again pick their brain and kind of ask questions as to what you should bring and all of that. But yeah, if you want to share the link with me, I can at least share the link with so that everyone has it and can join the group. It is a great way to kind of just get to know one another prior to staging if you want.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. Let me
Okay,
find it real quick.
perfect.
I got the link.
Oh, you do? Okay,
I just got it. Just to
perfect.
save you some time.
Sweet.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Okay. All right, great. Okay. Any other questions? No?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, and I thank you so much for taking your time to join the call, and so that we can get to kind of see each other face to face for a bit. And yeah, again, feel free to send me questions if you have anything about your application, and I will be sending out an email later on this afternoon, so please look out for that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And again, welcome to Peace Corps Madagascar. And yeah, and we'll talk again on, yikes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was weird. That's not going to make for a good recording.
No.
Um, so yeah, again, I was just saying, I look forward to talking with you all again on December 7th, okay, with the country director. All right. You guys have a wonderful afternoon,
You too.
and talk to you guys soon. All right. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
All right. Bye.